Hey, everybody, it's Brian Carmody, co-founder of Property Nirvana, here with my other co-founder, my partner in crime, John Matheson. John is going to take us through a demo on the leverage calculator software so that you can see what your membership brings to you as kind of this free software to use to evaluate your deals and see if they are lender ready and financeable. Okay.
Right
This is
on.
a great tool to have. John, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Brian. So what we're going to do today is a quick run through of leverage. I'm going to pretend I'm you guys, and I'm looking at this for the first time, and I'm trying to see if I have a transaction that is likely to be approved by a commercial lender. So this is the leverage dashboard that you see on my screen. Many of you would have come in from either some form of link that you were given, or you've come from the Property Nirvana site and you've gotten into a workflow for leverage, which is the free app. So once you're inside, you're creating a new project. And in this case, I'm just going to create a quick multifamily project, but we all end up at these type of pages. And in the beginning, leverage starts to explain to you what your results will look like. If you get a green, yes, the leverage logo green, it means that you can confidently connect with a lender. Your transaction numbers are likely something that they would do. If you end up in the amber space, it's not a bad place to be. It's just there's a little uncertainty in some of your numbers as to whether the lender will definitely react in a positive way. A red no means we go back to the drawing board. Transaction didn't fit normal bank standards. So what is it that we have to fix? Do we need more income in the transaction, more down payment, a better interest rate, something that we have to do different to get the lender to be likely to say, yeah, I'm good. So when we start, this is the inside of just the leverage app. There's a couple of different leverage apps. There's the subscription version, there's the free version. We're in the free version today, and we're going to tell the application what our analysis purpose is. So I want to do a purchase. I'm going to just title it multifamily test one, let's say, and then I'm communicating with my lender. What do I think my credit score is? So let's say I have a great credit score, or I'm very good. I'm just going to tell the lender where I think I am. And then I'm going to identify who I am doing the analysis. So I'm doing it for myself. Okay. And the property address. So I've obviously done transactions already, and the computer realizes that. So it's giving me options to revisit transactions. I'll just pick different ones that we've done in the past, and we'll click through. So now I've got an overview. I'm doing a purchase. What's my analysis title? What do I think my credit is? Where's the property's address? Who's doing the analysis and who's preparing it? Because sometimes you'll get a commercial realtor who will prepare this stuff for you, maybe your CPA. You never know who's preparing this, and you tell the lender who it is. So we move on. What is our transaction purpose? As we know, it's a purchase. And let's say we're buying something for simple. Let's buy something for $500,000. All right, we'll just keep these numbers simple for a typical multifamily, let's say of 5 units. So I've got to put a down payment in. Most lenders are going to want me to put 20 to 25% down. Pull down menu gets considered in leverage. Recommended is 25%. I've put down 20. So we'll see how the software reacts to my lender request. But if I have a partner, or I have private money in the transaction beyond me, I can start to tell the finance source that. Where am I getting the extra amount that I need to be able to make the 25% down? And maybe I'm getting it from a private money source or a friend or family member. And let's say I'm paying them interest only on their transaction, and I'm paying them, let's say, an 8% interest rate over time. So the software will start to consider their payment as part of the transaction. You'll really like this when you're talking to private money partners, because when you're building your equity piece, which for a lot of you is a big deal, where you're getting the down payment, you start to demonstrate to the private lender not only how your property can fund the bank loan, which is key, but also how you're going to pay them. Now, in some cases, you may not pay them back till the end, in which case you just wouldn't put them here. But if you are paying them interest from the cash flow of the property, you want to know that they fit in, and they're going to want to know that they fit in from the proceeds of the transaction. So the software starts to do math for us now. On our $500,000 purchase, with our 125,000 combined down. We have mortgage principal of 375, and the software starts to assert some assumptions. It's saying we're doing a fixed rate for 5 years to the lender, but we can change that. It's telling the lender we're going to try to get pre-qualified at a 6% rate, which might be high today for some of us. So we can always change that. But these are conservative metrics today that are our interpretation at Leverage and Property Nirvana of things that you would want to tell a lender about the property from a pre-qualification standpoint. And we're going to ask the lender to amortize our payment over 25 years. We can go to 30. We can change whatever we want there. But these are typical industry standards. When we're done with all of this, we advance. So Leverage then starts to summarize for us to make sure we're good. And this is the summary of everything we just put in and we just talked about. So we're not going to edit this section. We'll move to the next one. So then we get into income. So we've got a rental property, right? So we have to add the income, and we've got to tell the banker when the last source of income is. So if we have a rent roll from the seller or from the commercial agent or realtor, we're going to say, and in this case, we'll just say it's this August, it's a current rent roll. So let's add some income. So our unit type in this property, let's say it's 5 units, and let's say they're all 2 bedrooms, which would be awesome. And we'll just call this 2 bedroom as far as a unit type. Our unit count in this property, as we know, is 5. And let's say we have 4 occupied, right? And we want to get that. Well, better yet, let's occupy all 5 because it'll be easier for the analysis. So this is a great property, right? It's full. And let's say that our average rent is $1,700 for a 2 bedroom, but we think we could do a little reno and maybe a little fix up and get up to $2,000 in max rent. If we're not sure, we would just put down $1,700 for our max rent. So now we've told the calculator and the software what our rent is. So we'll save that. Sometimes we're going to have properties that have supplemental income. Let's say we had laundry in this, or we've got parking we can charge for. But if we have laundry and let's say we're getting $200 a month for laundry, we'll put that into the computation.
That's awesome.
So yeah, right. So there's our income real quick on our property. And we've got this data from some source, right? So now we're going to move on and we're going to say, well, what are our expenses? So fairly reasonable sized property. Let's say we've got 15,000 worth of taxes, which would be gross, but we may have it that high. 5,000 worth of insurance. Maybe as the landlord, we pay some utilities, but most of the time we're going to have our tenants pay their own. Maybe we've got it separately metered. Maybe we don't. We've got to do snow in the Northeast. We've got to do groundskeeping everywhere. So let's say we put in $3,000 for maintenance of this property outside. We do $500 worth of just routine supplies. These are all numbers we're getting from somebody about how the building operates, either off of Schedule E or what they're telling us. We'll put another $1,000 in for trash and that kind of stuff that maybe we're paying for. And then we've got real estate agents helping us market the place. We've got a CPA. We've got some administrative costs. And then we might have another amount that we don't know about that we're going to tell the lender. What is our other expense line that we have on a property like this? Now, what's really cool about Leverage is at this point, we've told the software everything about the transaction from an income and expense point of view. But for those of you who've done multifamily work before, there's some things that we didn't have to put in. We didn't have to put in management, reserves, replacements. These are all presets embedded in the algorithms for the Leverage calculator. So these are ways that we communicate with the lender with Leverage that we don't have to worry about as the investor because the software is doing it for us. So in our transaction, if we had any notes, let's say we wanted to tell the lender, hey, Brian, we paved in 2019 the new driveway. So we don't have that expenses. Maybe we have a new roof, right? So we put in a new roof in 2020. So the lenders like this because it's we're telling you about the property, right?
Absolutely.
So now we're done and we say, okay, here's our summary, right? Here's our income and expense overview. And we take a look and we see if we've put everything in right. Now, what's really cool for all of us, right, is here, this is the moment of transaction. So we're not sure if we're going to buy this property yet, or maybe we have a P&S And we're about to find out how Brian and people like him are going to view the transaction from a lender standpoint. So just take a moment, right? I always like to take a moment and think about the value of this at this point and what this is like for you pushing this button. We're going to run analysis and see if we pre-qualify, right? Do we have a transaction fundable or not? What do you think, Brian?
Rough numbers here. I'm curious about the expenses. Some of the
It didn't
I
look
think,
bad though. It didn't look bad. I kind of set this up to be on the edge. Let's see.
okay.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. Oh, we've got
Got it.
leverage.
All right.
Look at that.
Yep.
So the software, again, this is the free app. If we're inside the subscription, we're getting a bunch of numbers and reports thrown at us right now. But we have leverage, right? Which means we are one step closer to getting a loan. Next, we can connect with a lender like you, and we can access our pre-qualification report. So if we're ready, we go. If we're not ready yet, because we don't have a live transaction, we're not quite ready. We wait, right? But if we're ready to move the loan process forward, we take the next step. So we have a deal that Brian and lenders should want to fund. How about that? Use your leverage report to confidently get a funding decision. So we can, inside the application, connect with a lender, which Brian has worked real hard on to get us really good caliber, credible lenders to consider our transaction quickly for us, nationwide lenders that'll help us out and get us the best rate in terms that we can get for this transaction. And we can send our report to them, or we can simply purchase our leverage report and download, print, and share it with whatever lender that we like. So in this case, since it's a much easier and it's free for us to connect with lenders inside the app, let's send our report to the lender. Because we're in the free app, once we've connected with the lenders, we're not able to edit anymore. So we want to make sure we have a live deal ready to go. We're coming through Nirvana. We're using leverage. We're ready. And I'm going to tell Brian, I'm ready, right? So now let's connect with our lenders inside. 11 Capital Finance, full service brokerage, over 100 different lenders to choose from. I'm going to tell them what phone number to be able to reach me at now. Up to this point, I haven't told much about me at all, but I want to be called by Brian and the team at 11 Capital. Whoever is going to call me to tell me about my transaction, I need to open dialogue. I'm going to agree the information I provided is accurate and my request is valid. I'm not looking to just get pre-qualified. The application did that for me. I'm actually looking to start the process on the loan to acquire the property. So I'm going to agree that that's the case. And then I'm going to hit connect. And once I do that, my connection request gets sent digitally to Brian and his team over at 11 Cap. And once they get it, they're going to communicate with me as to what the next steps are for the transaction to proceed. So once I've done that, I'm ready. I'm waiting now for the commercial lender to come back to me. I mean, how simple is that?
John, let me just say the difference between when I get a leverage report customer and even what's considered a fairly well prepared person who didn't use leverage, the difference between the two is still 1,000%. I mean, this really is such a great tool to get people get their ducks in a row, their expectations set, and it makes it super easy for me and any lender, if we're buried in requests, loan requests, refi requests, whatever. Obviously, we're going to work with the ones that are easiest to work with, and if I've got all of this information in front of me, it shows me that the borrower is squared away and ready. And that's who I want to spend my time with,
Right. So basically these summary reports, that's what the leverage report consolidates and sends to you. So as a lender, this is all consumable information for you very quickly. And then you're able to determine based on the algorithms in the software if this is likely a loan that your companies can process. Now, I haven't done anything other than provide you with 10 minutes of information here.
10 minutes, I know.
And the empowerment that I have, right? I was just told by third-party software in the commercial lending space that I'm able to get a loan today on this property. And I just sent that request to you. And now I'm just like checking my inbox for you, or I'm waiting for my phone to ring
Yep.
from a team member or you at the lender that says, yeah, we like what you sent us. Let's do business.
Right.
We didn't have this stuff 5 years ago.
Nope.
No, we had to walk into the bank, call, pitch our deal. I didn't pitch anything to you yet. I
Right.
just sent you the numbers, which is really what you want to see. And then, you'll do all of your normal bank verifications, of course.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
all typical. And inside of Nirvana, we start to talk about preparing people for that process. But for this is as simple as it gets to pre-qualify your transaction and see if it's likely a yes or a no at a commercial lender.
Yep.
Big part of the Nirvana platform.
Huge. And the fact that Property Nirvana members get this level of support for free as part of their membership is unprecedented. Like there's nothing out there that is offering what we're offering here at Property Nirvana. You can't find this at a Facebook group or the Bigger Pockets or whatever, which has been around and does offer lots of things, but not to this degree, not free for membership. So this is
Right.
phenomenal benefit.
Right on, Brian.
All right, thanks, John.
Thanks a lot. Look
Folks,
forward
make
to
sure,
everybody.
yeah, make sure you check this out in your membership. And if you have any questions, you can always reach the host at propertynirvana.com. And we will, again, like I always say, lead you by the hand and take you through it if you have any questions about it. John, thanks again for doing such a quick and great demo.
Thanks a lot, Brian.
All right, talk soon.